नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 1, verse number 1. King Parikshit asked question to Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Kathito vansu vistaro bhavata swam suryayoho Ragyam Chaubhavanshanam Charitam Param Adbhutam. That you have explained in detail the dynasty of the kings from moon and sun and their wonderful activities. So this was the verse, and we read Mangalacharan verses of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So he now comments, Vachaitavyesu artheshu vaktur utsaham vardhetum taduttam abhinandati kathitaiti. So to increase the enthusiasm of the speaker, to inspire him about the topic which he is going to speak, he praises him by speaking this particular verse, Kathito vansu vistaro, that you have explained in detail the dynasty. Brahma prapotrat suryat, Brahma potrattvena, Brahmanshatvena, Mano adhishthatritvena, स्वयं भगवद अंगीकृत वंशताकत्वेन च सोमस्य अभ्यरितत्वात् पूर्णिपाता. So he is commenting on this Dvandva Samas, Soma Surya. It's a compound word made from Soma, moon, and Surya, sun. So in the Dvandva Samas or when there are various nouns put together to make one word, there are various rules. Which comes first, which comes second. If there are two or more, obviously there have to be at least two. So there are certain principles, like the one which has less number of vowels will come first, etc. So one of the rule is abhyahartitattvatcha, that one which is more respectable comes first and then comes second, and so on. So if you have to make a samas or compound word, say for example between Yudhishthira and Arjuna, so it should be Yudhishthira Arjuna Yoho, or Yudhishthira, whatever is the vibhakti you have to use, but Yudhishthira will come first, Arjuna will come second, because Yudhishthira is senior to Arjuna and therefore respectable to him. If it is Yudhishthira, Arjuna and Bhima, then Bhima will come second and Arjuna will come third. Although according to another rule, Bhima should come first because he is shorter. So generally we know that sun is more honorable than moon, because sun is the one who has the original light and moon is only reflecting it. Sun is also bigger in size. Sun is the center around which all the planets go around, right? Sun is called Surya Narayana, you don't call it Chandra Narayana. So there is so much praise about sun god. You don't hear so much about moon. So Gayatri is also called Savitri Gayatri. Savita also refers to sun. And Gayatri chanted facing the sun. And Gayatri is the essence of the Vedas. So it should have been Surya Somayoho. instead of Soma Suryayo. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti is explaining now why it is Soma Suryayo. That is how he is saying. So he says that Brahma's son is who is this? Because Surya is the son of Aditi and Kashyap, and Kashyap is grandson of Brahma, because Kashyap is son of Marichi, Marichi is son of Brahma. So therefore it says Brahma Prapotrat Suryat. So Surya is the great grandson of Brahma. But moon is grandson, because moon is son of Atri and Atri is son of Brahma. So he is grandson. So between grandson and great grandson, grandson has a higher position, is the uncle, right? So it says Brahma Prapotrat Suryat and Brahma Pautrattvena, and moon is the Brahma Pautra or grandson, and Brahma Anshatvena, and he is also Ansha of Brahma, because we have Man, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. So presiding deity related with Manas is moon, and then Brahma. Chitta is Vasudeva, Ahankara is Shiva. Right? So therefore he is also considered as Ansha of Brahma, also born from Atri. So Mano Adhashtatritvena, and is the Adhishtatri Devata of mind. Swayam Bhagavad Angikrita Vansya Takattvena cha, and Bhagavan Krishna himself accepted moon as his forefather because he came in his dynasty. So Vansya means born in the dynasty of moon. So therefore Somasya Abhyahari Tattvat. So therefore Soma or moon becomes more respectable than sun. Otherwise sun is more respectable. So therefore it says Soma Surya. So now you know why we always say Radha Krishna, or why we say Mata Pita in Sanskrit. In English also mother father, because mother is more respectable than father. So Mata Pitu Sahasrena Gaurvata Tirichyate. Manu says that mother is 1,000 times more honorable than father. So in the Samas, mother always comes first. And then when you see Pitarau, then Pitarau means Mata has been dropped, because there is a rule, and it is from Pitarau that you have the word parent in English. I don't want to say from Pitarau because modern scholars get upset, but at least it's cognate, because there was an Indo-European language from which came Sanskrit and the European languages. So there is a similarity between Pitarau and parent, because parent refers to both and Sanskrit Pitarau refers to both, mother and father. It's actually Mata Pitarau. Matri Pitri, Mata is dropped, but they cannot say that mother has been dropped because they don't have any rule like that. So that shows that actually Pitarau comes first and parents comes later. Because in Sanskrit you have a rule. It's like when you have Krishna, Krishna is Krishna, Krishna. Two. One is dropped. becomes Krishna. So Krishna represents two Krishnas. So Swayambhu Manostad Vanshanam cha Paramadbhut Charitranam Chaturthadishu Kathitatvepi Tasya Vansho Na Paryavasan Madhura. So although Swayambhu Manu and his dynasty was described earlier, which has all these wonderful characteristics, right? Dhruv Maharaj and Uttanpad, they all appeared in that dynasty. So, but that Vansha has not been mentioned here as Supreme Madhura because Krishna did not appear in that. Som Suryayo Vansastu Shri Krishna Ramacharita Charitra Antimatvat Paryavashan Madhura iti Tayor Utkarshena Ullekha. But it is the dynasty coming from sun and moon which is more glorious because of Krishna and Rama appearing in them. Sri Rama appeared in sun dynasty, Krishna in moon dynasty. Therefore, in the description of the Vanshas or the dynasties in the 9th canto, they end with the Som and Surya. Manu was spoken much earlier. So therefore, Madhuraina Samapayat. There is a principle that when you eat, then the end should be sweets. If you eat bitter, then whole day your mouth will be bitter. So you have to end with sweets, then you feel satisfied. You can eat wonderful meal, but if you don't eat sweet afterwards, you still feel something missing. But once you eat sweet, then that tops it, that closes the door. So similarly, although Manu's dynasty was explained, but the closing comes with the moon dynasty, specifically here, because Krishna appeared in that. So Tayor Utkarshena Ullekha. And therefore these two have been mentioned here because of their superiority. So this is what he comments on this particular verse.
I have a question, Babaji.
Yes.
Isn't the Swayambhuva Manu's dynasty also comes in Surya?
How?
So this is in Bhagavad Gita, right? The 4th chapter, that verse.
No, that is different Manu. Swambhu Manu comes from Brahma. It's there in the Brahma is the father of Swambhu Manu.
Yes.
That's why he is called Swambhu Manu.
So there are 3 dynasties then basically, Swam, Surya and Swambhu Manu or Brahma.
Yeah, in Bhagavatam you remember in the beginning there was a story of Uttanpad and who is the other?
Yes.
King? Priyavrata. Priyavrata and Uttanpad, these are 2 sons of Manu. So their story comes. So they are coming from Brahma.
So there are 3 dynasties, Swam, Surya and Brahma then.
Yes. But that's why he's saying that you only hear mainly about Som and Surya.
Yes.
And Swambhu is not hardly mentioned. So that is because Krishna and Rama appeared in them. So you hear about Ramayana and then you hear about Bhagavatam or Mahabharata. But others you don't hear so much.
Thank you.
So then the second verse. Any other question on this? Yada? Yes.
In regards to Radha Krishna, Radha being more respectable, I was wondering in which respect that is. And I guess it's not in respect from the perspective of the Brajvasis, as you said yesterday, because if Krishna had started worshipping Radha, they would not have understood it. So is it from the viewpoint of the worshipper that Radha is more respectable because we approach Krishna through her? That's why she's more respectable?
Yeah. Yes. So that's why you have Sita Ram, but then you have Shiv Parvati. Have you heard Parvati Shiva? So why Shiv Parvati? Because Sati left Shiva, didn't listen to him. Right? So therefore she got degraded. She came as Parvati, but now she has to be next to Shiva, not Parvati Shiva.
Babaji, regarding dynasties, like there are 14 Manus. So why only Swambhu Manu dynasty is taken, not others?
What do you mean taken?
Means considered.
Yeah, others are also considered. Others are also mentioned in, if you read Canto number 8, they are mentioned there. Yadosya dharmashilasya nitram muni sattama tatram sena utirnasya vishnor viryani shanshanaha. So then King continues. He says that you have spoken about Yadu earlier. So Yadu is called here as Dharmashila. So you spoke about the dynasty of Yadu, who is very dharmic. And now I want to hear about that person, or best of the Munis, in whose dynasty Krishna appeared. So please describe that. So it is interesting that he is calling Yadu as Dharmashila, because Yadu is the one who refused his father. Right? His father asked him, give me your youth. He is the eldest son, and he is the one who set the standard. He said, no. Why shall I do that? So how can he be considered as Dharmashila then? He did not obey his guru, his father. Father is also a guru. So there is a statement, Agya Guru Nam Hiya Vicharaniya, that you should follow this order of Guru Avicharaniya, without thinking. So why did he think? He should have done it as Puru did it. So there is Dharma and then there is Paramadharma. So we see that Kumaraj also refused Brahma when he asked them to marry. We also see Bhishma refused Parshuram when he asked him to marry Amba. So it is a principle that you follow the order of parents or teacher. But if it is going against the principle of Paramadharma, then one can refuse. So Yadu was a devotee of Krishna, and he knew that if he becomes old, then he would not be able to perform devotional service. And what is his father going to do with his youth? Use, right? So many times people ask this question, should devotees donate their limbs? Right? They have this, what is it called, organ donation? So this question is many times asked, that what should devotee do? Shall they donate their organs? So here we have the example of Yadu. who refused his father. He was not even donating his organ, but only his youth to be used by the father. So he refused it because it will have two disadvantages. One is that he would not be able to execute bhakti, because what can he do in old age? You need help from others. You cannot dance, you cannot do kirtan, you cannot sweep because your back is bent, or maybe you can do better sweeping. You're already bent. Right? You cannot do gardening, you cannot do goseva. Right? You cannot do any of these things. So that is one thing. And second thing is that his youth will be misused for material purpose. So therefore he considered this and he refused. So therefore he is not criticized for this. Just as the Kumaras are also not criticized for disobeying. Nobody says why Kumara disobeyed, because for higher purpose. Yes, getting married, having children, this is also dharma. But this dharma is not the ultimate purushartha. Although among the four purusharthas, dharma is considered as a purushartha. But dharma actually is not an ultimate purushartha. Just as artha is not an ultimate purushartha, kama is not an ultimate purushartha, dharma is also not ultimate purushartha. Ultimate purushartha is either moksha or bhakti. Because ultimate purushartha is that attaining which you don't have to achieve anything else. If after attaining that you have to still work, then it was not real purushartha. It's like attaining wealth is a purushartha, but it is not ultimate, because after attaining wealth also it's not that you just sit down and do nothing. You use your money for something. So you're still not fulfilled, you're still not perfect. So he understood this and therefore he refused. So for that reason he is called here as Dharmashilasya. So Yadosya Dharmashilasya Nitram Muni Saptam. And Sukdev is Muni Sattama. So Muni means Mananshil, those who thinkers, scholars, philosophers. And Sattama can be taken as the best of the Munis, or you can take Munischaso Sattamascha, who is Muni and also Sattama. And Sattama means devotee, because devotee is also called Sat, therefore we have Satsanga. Right? Satsangena Vinauddhava. Cannot get bhakti without Satsanga. So Satsanga there means Bhakta Sangha. So therefore Sat, Sattara and Sattama. Sattama means topmost devotee. So he is a Muni Sattama. Therefore he has knowledge. Means Muni means Jnani and Sattama means devotee. And thus he is qualified to describe Krishna's pastimes. So that is significance of Muni Sattama. But now he says, Tatra Anshena Avatirnasya Vishnor Viryani Shanchana. That please describe to us the exploits of Vishnu who appeared as an Ansha. So this Anshena Avatirnasya Vishnu who appeared by Ansha. Ansha means part. Anshi means whole. So this is a problematic statement now. So we have to keep in mind that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. Thus Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. And therefore now to say that Parikshit Maharaj saying that who is an Ansha does not make sense. So therefore it has to be given meaning. So there are different meanings which are given. Anshena meaning also is that one who came along with Balram, because Balram is his Ansha. And Tritiya Vibhakti Saharthe Tritiya. So Tritiya Vibhakti third case is used when somebody is coming with someone else. Putrena se agata pita. Father has come along with son. So father is in first case, son is in third case. So therefore Anshena Avtirnasya, one who descended along with his Ansha Balram. And there are other meanings which he gives in the commentary, we will see. So Yadoscharitam Kathitam. So you have explained the activities of Yadu. Tasya pitriyagya langhitve api shuddha bhakti matvat nitram dharmashilatvam navame vyakhyata. So it was explained in 9th canto that although he disobeyed his father, but because he is a pure devotee, therefore he is called Dharmashila. Because Bhagavatam is specifically talking about bhakti, and that is the Parama Dharma. Dharma projita kaitu atra parmo nirmatsaranam satam. So the other
small question was here, it is understood in Yadu's case that he was following Param Dharma. So what was the higher principle in case of Bhishma when he refused his guru?
we already discussed it. So what was his guru trying to tell him to do?
To marry.
But that is not Bhishma's duty. That was not his dharma. He has already taken a vow not to marry. So if he was asking him to follow dharma, that was alright. He was asking him to engage in adharma. When Brahma asked Kumaras, Brahma was not asking them to engage in some adharma. Getting married is normal. But because they wanted to follow the path of moksha, which is beyond dharma, they refused. But Parshuram was not telling him to follow dharma because Bhishma has already taken the vow not to marry.
But can we not say that he was so attached to his vow, like we say for Karan, that he was so attached to his name and fame as a charitable person, that his charity was not motivated from the point of love, but with the motive of name and fame. So can we not say like that for Bhishma, that he was so attached to his vow that he disobeyed his guru?
So by obeying his guru, he will, what is the benefit which will come? Okay, he will not have name and fame. So what would he gain?
Only that he would do service to his guru.
No, that was not really service. Anyway, first of all, where is it said that Karna was doing it for name and fame?
No, I heard it somewhere. I'm not exactly about the source, but I heard it somewhere.
Okay. Okay. So Nitram Dharmashilatvam Navame Vyakhyatam. So this has been explained in the 9th canto. Ekadashe Vyakhyashyate cha. This will also be described in 11th canto. So in 11th canto there is a dialogue between King Yadu and Avdhuta. I think beginning from 7th chapter, 7th, 8th, 9th. or 6th. So that Avdhuta, when he talks about his 24 gurus, so he's speaking to Yadu. So there also Yadu is described as a great devotee, and he is inquisitive. That's why he was asking him. Muni sattama iti munitvat sarvagyatvam bhaktmukhyatvat bhakti utkarsh sthapkatvam iti ubhayam tvayi eva drishtam iti bhava. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti is commenting on the word Muni Sattama, that because you are Muni, therefore you are Sarvagya, means you are the knower of the truth, and because you are Sattama, therefore you are Bhakt Mukhya, you are great devotee or chief of the devotees. Therefore you will establish Bhakti, the superiority of Bhakti. Nityam Vishnu Jan Priya, it is described in the first canto, that how he became dear to Vishnu Janas or Bhaktas, Atmaramasya Munyo Nirgantha Pyurokrama. Although he was Atmarama to begin with, but then after hearing Bhagavatam, he became Vishnu Janapriya, became devotee. Rather, he became very dear to devotees because he spoke on Bhagavatam. All the great sages, they came and assembled to hear him. So these two characteristics, he says, are found in you only, specifically. So he has this specific characteristic, that he is highly realized, learned, jnani, and also devotee. So tatra avtirnasya viryani kathaya. So you please describe the activities of this person who appeared in Yadu dynasty.
Babaji,
Yes.
just like one thing, here is interesting that actually King Parikshit is addressing Yadu as a dharmashil. So he understood the principles all along the way, hearing the Bhagavatam.
Yes. Yes, of course he understands. And he knows the greatness of Yadu. So he says, Anshena Vishnoya. So this Anshena Vishnu means, now some twisting will start, because straightforward meaning is not possible here. So that's why people say, well, these Gaudiya people, they are always trying to twist. But you have to keep in mind what is being said earlier. So if you say that he is an Ansha of Vishnu, then Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam does not make sense. So therefore Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that is, Jiva Goswami says, the Paribhasha Sutra. That is the defining statement. That is the statement which has defined who is Krishna. So aniyame niyam karani paribhasha. Paribhasha is that which establishes the principle when there is no principle. So till then there was no specific statement made about Krishna. It's only 3rd chapter. So he makes it statement now that Krishna is Swam Bhagavan. So now anything which is said about Krishna will be interpreted by like that. So you may have heard the famous principle that Purva Parya Daurbalyam, that between Purva and Para, which comes first and which comes later, so earlier is considered as weaker, what comes later is considered as stronger. Right? But it is not always like that. There are principles. So if there is a paribhasha given, then that cannot be overridden by anything. Otherwise, it is not a paribhasha. Otherwise, what is the point in making that paribhasha if something is going to? So making a clear statement, it is also a shruti statement, means a direct statement. It is a direct statement, not coming by some interpretation. It is shrutena. Shrutena arthena chanjasa, it is direct shruti statement. Shruti here does not mean Veda, but that which is heard by the words. So Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is a shruti statement, and shruti statement overrides everything else. Linga, Prakarana, and this Samakhya Sthan, they are all overridden by Shruti. So therefore the word Anshena has to be interpreted here. So why Parikshit Maharaj is speaking like this? Does he not know that Krishna is Swam Bhagavan? So why is he making such a enigmatic statement or mysterious way of saying? So because people in the assembly, everybody does not understand Krishna is Swam Bhagavan. People even now, what to speak of when Parikshit was there, they think Krishna is Vishnu's avatar. Because generally the avatars are of Vishnu's only. Jagrihe Parusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadevi. So it is Bhagavan who takes the Purusha Rupa, which is Vishnu, and then all the avatars are coming. Nidhanam Bijam Avyam, Sarva Avtaranam Nidhanam Bijam Avyam. He is the Bija of all the avatars. All avatars come from him. So it is well known fact that the avatars come from Vishnu. And then Krishna is coming, so then he is also accepted as, or thought to be as, avatar of Vishnu. That's a general understanding. But that's why Suta Goswami has to make a clear statement that Ete chance kala punsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. So Ete chance kala punsha. Punsha means Purusha, which is Vishnu. That these are all avatars of Vishnu, but Krishna is Swam Bhagavan. So keeping that Ete chance kala punsha in mind, Parikshit speaks, but he speaks in a way that it can be also meaning that he is Swam Bhagavan. So double meaning. So both parties can feel satisfied. So therefore Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Anshena Vishnu ya khalu anshena vaikunthe Vishnu bhavati. Yasya kamso Vishnu tasya purnasya. So he says that Anshena Vishnu. So not that he came here as Ansa of Vishnu, but one who by one of his Ansa is Vishnu. Means explain to me about him whose Ansa is Vishnu. Not that he is Ansa of Vishnu. So Anshena Vishnu. By his Ansa who is Vishnu, Yah Khalu Ansena Vaikunthe Vishnu Bhavati. Who by one of his expansion exists as Vishnu or Narayana in Vaikuntha. So I want to hear about that person. Because he is not mentioning about whom. Yeah, of course he will speak later on, but here there is no mention of Krishna directly here or Vasudeva, but whose Ansha is Vishnu. So yasya ekansho Vishnus tasya purnasya. So I want to hear about that person whose one Ansha is Vishnu, means one who is complete himself. So Swam Bhagavan Krishna, want to hear about him. Yadva anshena sanshaya samastena vaktum na kasyapi shaktirti bhava. Or instead of applying the word Anshena with Vishnu, you can apply Anshena with Sansha. That you partly describe to me about Vishnu who has appeared here. And Vishnu is the name of Krishna. Vishnu is also one of his names. Vikriditam Brajvadubhiridam cha Vishnu. So at the end of Ras Leela, Sukadeva Goswami calls him as Vishnu, not Krishna. Buddha said also Krishna, but he says Vishnu. So Vishnu is the name for Krishna. So Vishnu, you describe to me his activities partly, because it is not possible to describe his activities fully. So therefore Anshena becomes a modifier of the verb. So Anshena Sansha Samastena Vaktum na Kashyapi Shaktiriti Bhava. Says because no one can describe his activities fully, because there is no limit to that. So that is another way of explaining it. Then third sloka. Avtirya yador vanshe bhagavan bhut bhavanah kritvanyani vishwatma tani no vad vistarat. So he is again referring to Yadu, giving a lot of credit to Yadu. So he says that he appeared in the dynasty of Yadu Maharaj. And who is he? Bhagavan Bhuta Bhavana. He is Bhagavan. What type of Bhagavan? Bhuta Bhavana. So Bhutanam Bhavayati to Bhuta Bhavana. So Bhuta Bhavana means living beings. Simple meaning is who creates living beings. But as we will see in the commentary, Bhava also means prema, Bhava Bhakti. So one who gives prema to living beings is Bhuta Bhavana. So that Krishna who gives prema, so Lata Konyo Krishnat Lata Supi Premdo Bhavet. Who else is there who can give prema even to a creeper? Because creepers are also dropping tears of love. So that is Bhut Bhavana. Kritvan yani Vishwatma tani novad vistarat. So the activities which he performed after appearing here in the dynasty of Yadu Maharaj, describe them to us in detail. And he is also called here as Vishwatma. So Vishwatma means also one who is the Atma of living beings. And Atma also signifies the object of love. Means he is the object of love for all. Vishwa means all. Vishwa means universe. So who is to be loved by all? That is also meaning of Vishwatma. So Krishna Menam Avehitvam Atmanam Akhilatmanam. So he is the Atma of Atma, which means he is the supreme object of love. So Dehinam Nipa Atma Eva Vallabha Itre Vittapatyadya Tadvallabhata Evi. So in this body the supreme object of love is only Atma, and everything else we love only because of the Atma, whether it is wealth or possessions or family relations. If Atma is not there, then no one loves that. So So navayare patyu kamaya pati priyo bhavati apitu atmane kamaya. So it is only for the sake of Atma that everything is dear, everything is lovable. Without Atma, everything is Shiva, Ashiva. Right? So it becomes inauspicious. And Krishna is Vishwatma. He is the Atma of everybody, he is the Atma of Atma. Akhil Dehinam. So therefore he is the supreme object of love. So we want to hear about his activities. Because that is the most purifying thing. When we hear about Krishna, because he does not have any material motive, he is not coming here to achieve something. He is Kritya, na avaptam avaptavim varteva cha karmani. I have nothing to achieve, yet I perform activities. So by hearing his activities, one becomes purified. Janma karma se me divyam. Krishna himself says, my birth, my activities are divine. By hearing them, by understanding them, one becomes free from bondage. So therefore, he specifically asks about him. So this is Parikshit's compassion on us. Because if he does not ask, then Sukadeva will not speak. And then we will not hear this. So it is not only just for his benefit he is asking, but for the benefit of everyone else. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti says, Nanu jato gata pitri grihad vrajamedhi dharta ityadinam shenuktani eva. So Sukadeva Goswami says that you are saying that you partly describe his activities. As I already described partly in the last chapter. Towards the end, I spoke 2 shlokas about him. Right? So what more you want? In 2 shlokas I gave the whole history. That after taking birth in the prison, he went to Gokul. So, Jato Gata Pitri Grihad Vrajamedhitartha. Didn't I say that? So why are you asking? So then he says, Satyam Samastena Tadviryani Shankshipti Kritya Vaktum Asakyani Eva. So his Parikshit says, yes, it is not possible to describe his activities in completeness. Even if you condense them, still it is not possible. Taya tu anshena yani uktani tani api sankshipti kritya slokabhyam uktani. So he says, what you have said partly, they also you have made them so concise, so brief, that you spoke only 2 slokas. Nothing more. He says, that's not satisfying. All the time I'm waiting, that there is going to be a big feast, and then you come and put half a laddu in front of me. I was waiting for a big plate of sweet rice. So this is not enough. Ato bahubhi slokai stani eva vistriti kritya bruhi ityahyavatiri. So he says, what you spoke in those 2 slokas, that only now you expand in many slokas. I am not asking you that you speak everything, that is not possible, but just expand that, what you summarized. Bhutani bhavavanti premavanti karoti iti priyojna muktam. So he says that the word bhut bhavana is explaining about the priyojana, the purpose. Why is he asking to describe this in detail? Because Krishna is bhut bhavana, or one who gives prema to the jivas, to the living beings. So by hearing about him, people will benefit. So that's why he is asking. So this is the purpose, prayojana, which is being indicated by Nirlokam ramyamasa murtya sarvang ramyaya iti avitript drisham nrinam iti samurtya loka lavanya nirmuktya iti adibhya katha avgamat. So he says that this was understood also in the last chapter. There was a mention Nirlokam ramyamasa murtya sarvang ramyaya, that Krishna, he gave pleasure to everybody by his beautiful limbs. So then it is said avitripta drisham nirnam. So that when Uddhava was talking about Krishna, then he says people will look at him with unsatisfied eyes. And then in 11th canto it says Samurtya Loka Lavanya Nirmuktya, that by the beauty of his form he liberated people. So these statements referring that how he gave prema, because if they are looking at him with unsatisfied eyes means what? They have prema for him. Otherwise you look at somebody, then how long you will look at the person? But if you love somebody, then you want to look at that person again and again. And more intense is the prema, more you want to see. You are never satiated. So avitripta drisham indicates the love which he gave to them, therefore they are not satisfied. Same in the last chapter when it is said that he gave pleasure by his beautiful body. So pleasure comes only by seeing someone if you have liking for that person, not otherwise. If somebody is your enemy, he may be beautiful, you don't like to see that person. So that shows he is referring to this to show the significance of the word bhut bhavan, that he gave prema. Yato vishvatma deha jivabhyam sakashadapi paramatma premaspadi bhavitum arhati eveti. So therefore he is called Vishvatma, means that he is object of love more superior or more lovable than the body or the Atma. So we like our body, right? Kurvan chatgali kani kaya kasena vallabha. Body is always giving trouble to us, right? Still we love it, right? We don't hate it. It gives so much problem. And then beyond body is Atma, which is actually the truth. We love the body because we think this is our Atma. So from this you can understand how much is Atma more lovable, how much more is Atma lovable. If body is so much lovable because of misidentification, how much more lovable would be Atma? And then how much more lovable will be Paramatma? So Krishna Mayanam Avehitum Atmanam Akhilatmanam. So Jagadhitaya Sopyatra Dehi Bhati. He is here for Jagat Hitaya, for the welfare of Jagat, universe. And what is the welfare? Love. So it's only to give that he is here. So therefore he is the premaspadi bhavitum arhati eva. Then certainly he is the one who is qualified, who deserves to be the object of love. Therefore he is called Vishvat. Brahmastavante vyakti bhavishyati. So this will become clear at the end of the prayers of Brahma in the 14th chapter. They are very nice slokas at the end of 14th chapter to establish this point only, that Krishna is supreme object of love. Vistarat asmadadi mandbuddhi sugamyartham vistaram shabd bahulyam prapya. So why is he saying that explain in detail? He says we are less intelligent. If you speak in brief, then we don't understand. So please expand and don't be so miser in talking about Krishna. Vistaro vigraho vyasa sacha shabdasya vistara. So Vistara vigraha vyasa, they all means expansion. This is the end of his comment on thing, and we'll stop here. If there is any question. You don't have to ask, don't force yourself.
No, because you about this following the instruction of the Guru, that without thinking. So then it looks like this.
If you can follow with thinking, that is great. Without thinking, it's very difficult.
Without thinking is very, very difficult. Looks like it's a big disqualification, this thinking.
Yes. So that is the difference between Shraddha and Buddhi. Shraddha and Buddhi have a little conflict. Because Buddhi is that which gives you vivek. It thinks. And it doesn't want to just follow like that. And Shraddha is that you follow. So, if Buddhi becomes independent of Shraddha, then problem. But if Buddhi is subservient to Shraddha, then that is a very good combination. So in the story of Shiva and Daksha and Sati, which we mentioned earlier, we said Shiva, Parvati, this was the problem. That Sati is the daughter of Daksha. Right? So Daksha means smart. And that's what Daksha means. And she is the daughter of the smart. So she is smarty. Means using her buddhi. And Shiva is personified Shraddha. So she did not listen to Shiva. Shiva said, no, don't go there. This is not good. So she did not care for that. She used her buddhi. So she is daughter of Daksha. So she says, no, I will go. Now knowing very well that this smart fellow has disrespected Shiva, who is Shraddha, that's why he was absorbed in his thoughts, because he is Shraddha. There he just came. So if she had Shraddha, if she had listened to Shraddha, then she would not go. But she became inclined towards Daksha, then towards Shraddha. So therefore she got into trouble. Then next time she was born as daughter of Himalaya. So Himalaya means fixed. Because in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says Thavranam Himalaya. That among the stable things I am Himalaya. So now she became fixed. No more Daksha business. Right? So she says no. So then she would not leave Shiva. But she had to do a lot of tapasya to get So tapasya means getting rid of this buddhi idea all the time, vivek, which goes against Shraddha. If buddhi goes against Shraddha, that is problem. So that is the tapasya she is doing. So then the Saptarishis came to disturb her. Remember, there is a story in Kalidasa's play also there. They told her that, what are you doing? Why are you after this crazy fellow? There are so many other nice people. Look how he looks, what he does. So she did not listen to that. So now she was fixed on her Shraddha. So that is difficult job. Tapasya is needed for that. Now we are too much after buddhi. Actually, buddhi is not bad, but if buddhi becomes attracted to enjoyment, after all, why did she go there? To enjoy, right? Because my sisters are going there, and it will be a big festival, I want to go there. So this has nothing to do with her devotion to Shiva. So when buddhi becomes yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti manishina, then you manishina, right? So then your buddhi becomes polluted by that. So that's why Krishna said tata gantasi nirvedam shrotasya srutasya cha. So when you become free from this, then you become sthit pragya. Right? After that only sthit pragya comes, when Arjuna says sthit pragyasya ka bhasa samadhistasya. So before that, bahu shakhaya anantasya buddhya avyavashayinam. Then your buddhi bahu shakhaya anantasya buddhya avyavashayinam. Their buddhis are bahu shakha. They don't become fixed. So there is a lot of talk about buddhi in 2nd chapter Bhagavad Gita. So this buddhi becomes fixed with Shraddha, then you are on the right path. So that's why Rupa Goswami says Adav Shraddha. So that is meaning of, actually Shraddha also means that fixity. Dha. Try the word dha. Dharana dharmiti ahu. Dha means fixed. Otherwise, buddhi says, okay, now do this, do that, do this. Keeps on running wherever he sees some.
Babaji, now that you are very nicely you have told about Buddhist Shraddha and their difference. Can you please also say a little more on this, because Shraddha we generally understand as faith. So can you please say a little more on this Shraddha in the sense of what is blind faith and what is actual faith?
So blind faith means that you believe in something without any proper deliberation or understanding. Shraddha, faith is actually blind only. Faith means to believe in something which you have not experienced. But in that one is that you don't use your buddhi at all to come to that faith. So you use buddhi to come to faith. And then you stick to the faith. But if you don't use your buddhi and you just get into faith, that kind of faith is what is called fanaticism or blind faith.
So with the buddhi we come to the faith and then we use our buddhi to get fixed in the faith. Then buddhi should not go against the faith.
Yes. Okay. Let's stop. Yes.
So, having a fixed buddhi means that I have a clear resolve and don't change that, or what does it mean?
No, buddhi is for vivek. And fixed buddhi means, after doing vivek, proper deliberation, then you fix it. Then why should you change?
So the fixity or stability is in the resolve, in the goal.
Yes. Okay.